the town of Carefree Use Tax, providing penalties for the violation thereof, providing severability, and establishing an effective date. This is the first reading of this ordinance. That means we will not take action tonight. We can discuss it, we can hear comments, but we will not take action tonight. The intention is to take action in December. Mr. Neese.
Thank you, Mayor. And just to clarify, there is one action item. That's a resolution attached to your council packet tonight. That is to adopt for the public record the section of the Model City Tax Code that if we in the future adopt the ordinance, this makes it available for the public to view. Last month, Al Haller was in front of the town council, and Al represents over 24 communities throughout Arizona, including Carefree and Cave Creek, in the capacity of sales tax auditor. He reviewed with the council the purpose of the municipal use tax in the Model City Tax Code. One of the tangible points that I thought Al raised was that the use tax protects local businesses by removing the competitive advantage internet-based business has created by applying a uniform tax code. I think that's a very salient point. Mr. Holler also went on to say that the community is missing out on the use tax large retailers pay for purchases on national contracts, such as in-store fixtures. For example, if Lowe's or CVS purchases new shelves, they purchase that through a national contract. That is subject to the use tax. He said all these national retailers are paying into that use tax. You're losing tens of thousands of dollars. That was another example that he has cited. By way of example, as far as how much revenue the town could potentially yield, Mr. Holler went on and said that he also serves as the auditor for Cave Creek once again. In their budget, they anticipate up to $100,000 in use tax. That doesn't mean that Carefree would yield $100,000, but that's a benchmark to show what a similar sized community in a similar geographical area with similar businesses anticipates any given 1 year. Once again, as the mayor indicated, this is the first reading of the use tax. It's the section of the Model City Tax Code that currently exists, and if adopted, that adoption would take place a month from now, December 3rd to be exact. I'm glad to address any questions that the council might have.
Are there any questions or comments from the council?
Gary, what is the downside? Why would any municipality not want to adopt an ordinance like this?
Well, as Mr. Holler has stated to the council in both written form and verbally, we're in a dynamic society, and there's a disadvantage in not adopting it to your respective businesses. So you're putting yourself in a disadvantage. You want to protect those local businesses. So what he has encouraged is that these local municipalities adopt the Model City Tax Code for use tax to protect those local businesses. So based on what he's recommending, I see more upside than any downside.
So the use tax, this allows us to receive funds or provide or require an additional tax if heretofore was not being paid?
Both.
Providing a conduit?
Both.
Gary, could you explain the $1,000 exemption and how
Yes.
that applies to residents?
There is a $1,000 exemption. So if you go online and purchase $1,000, less than $1,000, there is that exemption provided within that Model City Tax Code, so it's not subject to that use tax
And is that cumulative or per line item?
per line item.
And will we have to do as a town, anything to collect this money, or does someone else collect it for us?
It's all collected through the state, and actually on your tax form, as Mr. Holler represented, there's actually a provision on your tax form for that use tax. Adopting a resolution to make the Model City Tax Code a public record. So then when we go through the advertisement process, there's approximately 20 pages associated with this. Once again, this is a boilerplate tax code that most communities adopt. And so it's pretty lengthy. You don't have to advertise each one of those pages. When you advertise an ordinance, you have to advertise the exact ordinance. But if it's a lengthy document, you can adopt it by reference with public records. That's what this resolution.
Well, they're local communities. What % of the country utilizes a use tax?
Say what Arizona is, out of 91 cities, 51,
51 do have
a
it.
use tax.
And if a person is requested to, directed to put it on their income tax return, who handles enforcement of that? If a person does not and purchases a $2,000
Yeah,
item?
and it's not so much the individuals that, yeah, the issue addresses, it's more so the corporate entities within a community. That's difficult to enforce from an individual perspective. We're not a police state, we're not going to go in there and ask for
Right.
people's tax returns. That's where we're not. It's something that's self-reported.
Just so I'm clear, if I go to the store and we pass this, I'm not going to see anything on my receipt showing an increased price. This is money that's already collected by the state. We're just now allowing the portion of the temporary.
In part, yes, yes.
This is not for in-state purchases. This is stuff purchased outside of Arizona that's shipped in. And I can also note that many of the big internet retailers have now begun collecting sales tax. For example, Amazon. We do have to adopt a resolution, and that resolution is 2013-08.
So moved.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2013-08. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you.